So the other day I was browsing YouTube for something to watch, and I came upon a video of a beached shark in Cape Cod. On it, a group of bystanders attempted to keep a stranded shark wet and alive until the proper authorities came to drag it back into the water. It was a very moving display of human-to-animal compassion. However, it dawned on me, as it often does when I see non-vegans helping animals, that those involved were exhibiting cognitive dissonance. Most times, I keep such thoughts to myself, but this time I felt compelled to write a remark in the comment section. While I'm happy that these people cared enough to try and help this animal survive, I can't help but think about the cognitive dissonance of these same people when they went home that night and ate a dead animal. As one might imagine, this comment brought forth quite a bit of vitriol and mockery from other YouTubers, which is the subject of this video. Firstly, I would like to expand upon my initial comment and then proceed to discuss the reactions from others. The cognitive dissonance that I perceive in meat-eating, animal-loving people is the compassion and concern they have to some animals on one side, and the total lack of compassion and concern for animals that they eat on the other. What makes a shark on a beach worth saving, yet not the chicken, cow, or pig that ended up on the plate for dinner? Is it merely a matter of socialization? One animal is considered wild and worthy of protection, while the other has been culturally accepted as a food item? Is it because we bred some animals into existence and therefore have some right to their life and death? To many vegans, this arbitrary delineation is illogical and very frustrating because it's so very clear in our minds. In response to my comment, as is often the case, a YouTuber pulled out an appeal to nature argument.
It's part of nature. Even some plants eat dead animals.
An appeal to nature argument is problematic and fallacious because the mere naturalness of a thing does not make it good or bad. Natural things can be both harmful and harmless. Arsenic, for instance, is natural but poisonous, while clothing is unnatural yet necessary for those living in cold climates. Additionally, the term natural is not clearly defined and can be applied in multiple ways. To this comment I responded with, "So is rape, infanticide, murder, and war. Should we just accept those as well because, it's part of nature?" And here was the impetus for the shit hitting the fan. Firstly, I need to clarify exactly what was meant by this comment because the responses from other YouTubers demonstrated a monstrous misunderstanding. I am not, nor have I ever equated eating animals with rape, infanticide, murder, or war. I refrain from comparing and weighing unethical behavior because such things are not quantifiable. I used these particular examples because most will recognize that these actions have a negative impact on a society of social beings. We can all agree that these things should be discouraged because we can examine the consequences and come to rational conclusions. So it would be absurd to argue that we should allow rape in the human population by appealing to ducks in the wild that engaged in forced copulation. This phenomenon, known as rape flight, is one in which several mallards will aggressively peck at a female duck until she submits to sex or dies. It would also be absurd to argue that humans ought to permit infanticide just because you can find parallels in nature. Male lions are known to kill young cubs, enabling them to impregnate the females. It would additionally be absurd to encourage humans to engage in war just because some wild animal species do it as well. In Uganda, it has been found that chimpanzees are going into battle over land. The males are separating from their main groups, marching silently in the woods, tracking other chimpanzees of different groups, and killing them in pursuit of territorial expansion. All of these examples of rape, infanticide, and war are natural occurrences in the animal kingdom, but no one would consider arguing for the right for humans to engage in these behaviors because of it. An appeal to nature is not a valid argument here, and neither is it a valid argument for the continued slaughter of billions of animals for human consumption. But of course, people will misconstrue my comments and accuse me of absurdity.
Eating other animals is a survival instinct. Humans are omnivores for a reason. Comparing eating for survival to rape, murder, and war? What idiocy is this?
Why do you vegans always use the shittiest, most unrelated example to showcase your point? You can choose not to eat meat and shut the fuck up about it. Keep your opinion to yourself. You just brought up rape, murder, and infanticide and are correlating it with eating meat. I don't usually call people dumb, but that's just idiotic.
Next, I would like to address the rampant hatred and intolerance for vegans on the internet. Rather than attempt to defend their choices to eat animals, many will resort to ad hominem attacks.
LOL, I don't blame him. His brain isn't getting the nutrition and energy it needs from vegetables. He can't think on our meat-fueled brain level.
Damn, what a fucking moron you are.
Fag.
Or attempt to silence opposition.
Shut up, faggot. Shut the fuck up.
Way to dig deep into your asshole for that correlation. Shut the fuck up.
And even get so worked up that they express desires to physically assault another.
I would just like to say that I would love to punch you in the face, you moronic, uneducated cunt. Nothing personal. Have a nice day.
Others still will resort to mockery in an attempt to emotionally and psychologically injure and trivialize the issue.
I ate a roast lamb and gravy roll yesterday for lunch, and while I was munching away, I was thinking about the little lamb that has given its life so that I could enjoy that lunch. And OMG, that roast lamb roll tasted great. I'm definitely going to enjoy another one soon.
I'd rescue a drowned cow if I could, and then barbecue the shit out of it.
I personally am offended at the genocide of plants the world around. The horror I feel every Saturday morning as millions of grass plants silently scream in pain as they are brutally chopped in half by lawnmower blades. It wrecks me for days.
Don't even get me started on the rainforests in South America. I do my best to get them some payback, so I kill as many deer as legal, and I eat as much beef as I can. One less murderous herbivore out there taking these plants down in their prime. Roundup is murder. Mowing is murder. Stop the madness.
Only a tiny minority will actually attempt to justify their decision to eat other animals, and it often comes down to a mistaken sense of necessity.
There is nothing wrong with killing animals to survive, but there is a lot wrong with rape, murder, and war. You can't compare something that is necessary with something that isn't necessary.
Sure, for people who live in poverty, war-stricken lands, or remote, inhospitable environments, there may be a need to hunt and kill animals to survive. In a situation where you have no options other than to kill to live, we have an obligation to ourselves to do what we must to survive. However, for anyone who lives in more affluent countries and has the means to choose what foods they purchase and eat, there is no necessity to consume animals. We are omnivores, but not obligate omnivores. Our bodies are able to digest a wide range of things, but this is more an evolutionary advantage and less an indication of what we ought to be eating. We can survive on eating animals, but we don't require animals for continued health if we have viable options, which I argue many of us do. I'm not here arguing that meat eaters are bad people, or that I wish to enact laws forcing everyone to go vegan. I desire for people to consider the arguments and consequences of their actions. Want to appear on an upcoming video? If you can record a video reading of a stupid comment or book passage, email me at theveganatheist@hotmail.com. Looking for a great place to communicate with vegans, atheists, theists, and non-vegans from across the globe? Consider joining the Vegan Atheist Forum. Our growing community is always looking for new members with whom we can share our experiences, debate issues, discuss, and learn from each other. Join the conversation at theveganatheist.com/forum.